In this video, you're going to hear from several different RVers, most of who've been on the road for 5+ years, about what they do now differently when it comes to RV life that they didn't do when they first got started. And so you're going to want to stay tuned. Hi, my name is Charity, and for the last 5 years, my husband Ben, our 2 kids, our dog, our cats, we've been traveling the US in our RV, and boy, have we learned some things along the way, found some amazing places to visit, and some great food too. Here on this channel, we share all of this and more, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever a new video releases. Now, how we live RV life today looks much different than when we first got started, and in this video, you're gonna hear about 7 things specifically that experienced RVers are doing differently now versus when they first hit the road. Plus, you're going to want to watch to the end because we've got a few tips that we are going to share with you as well about some things we do differently, and I know you're going to find those valuable. So let's jump right in with thing number 1. Something we do differently now versus when we first started RV living is actually traveling at a slower pace. When we first started traveling the US, we were so excited to be on the road and we wanted to see all the places, and we usually only stayed in a specific location for 2 to 3 nights. This was because we wanted to go and do and see all the things, all the places. However, we quickly learned this was very fatiguing. Kind of reminds me of that old game, Oregon Trail, where you would choose the pace and one of the options was grueling. Well, that's how it started to feel pretty quickly. So now when we're trip planning, one of the things that we do differently is we stay a minimum of 4 to 5 nights at any given stop. And most often we stay somewhere for at least a week, sometimes longer. And this is to take advantage of weekly rates that are usually cheaper than a nightly rate. Now for thing number 2, we recently asked some friends, Tim and Melinda with Faith Family and a Fifth Wheel, about something they do differently now after they've been on a road for a while. So next up, we have Tim and Melinda with Faith Family and a Fifth Wheel. So how long have you guys been on the road?
We've been on the road for about 19 months.
Awesome, so almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, yes.
And so what are some things that you guys do now that you didn't do when you first started?
I think one of them is putting the Reflectix in the windows. We did that summer when the East Coast was really, really hot.
Yep.
And so yeah, all the windows, including our closet, we put the Reflectix in.
Now that's a good idea, because I know like a lot of people will sometimes think about the Reflectix in the windows because of the glass, but they don't always think about the Reflectix in the areas that it's not glass, and it still really helps.
It does. It does. It really, really helps. And we've even thought about doing it in like all the outside walls, cupboards too.
Yep, we've seen some RVers do it in their cupboards too, especially the ones that are, you know, like on those outside walls or in a slide where the slide goes out and it's getting that heat and everything like that. So it's a really great idea.
Yeah, dehumidifiers.
Oh, that's a good one.
We have a big one here for the big living area.
Okay.
And then we have a little one for each of the bathrooms.
In the bathroom, I think, like people don't always think about that too, because when you're showering and everything else, I mean, that's a lot of humidity. And you know that humidity, condensation, like that's just like the RV enemy.
It is. So it is. Especially if you have children that don't keep the fan on.
Right?
As long as they should.
These things called children that just make RV life more complicated.
Right.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing your tips and letting us take a look at your home. So thing number 3 that we do now is using RV to book those hard to book campgrounds or when trip planning. If you haven't heard about RV, it's a new online travel agency booking site where you can set up searches for campgrounds, and they have over 3,500 campgrounds now available to search from, including highly sought after campgrounds listed on recreation.gov, Reserve America, Florida and California state parks, and many, many more. Now, one of the reasons we personally love using RV is that their service has helped us secure reservations at hard to get into locations like the state parks here in the Florida Keys. RV's system runs scans for cancellations at these campgrounds, and as soon as it sees a cancellation, it instantly books it for you with no additional booking fees. Now, this service has been a game changer for us, especially since we like to camp in Florida in the winter, where it can be harder to get into campsites during the winter months because we're a snowbird state. RV also has a pay only for what you use model, meaning that you only pay for the service for the months that you actually use it. Now, if we could only say the same for other types of camping memberships we have. For numbers 4 and 5, we asked our friends Brian and Aaron over at 5 to Go to share with us some things, and I absolutely love what they had to say that they're doing differently now versus when they first started. So we're here with our friends Brian and Aaron from 5 to Go. Now, they have been on the road for 5 years, and these are like some guys that we totally look up to when it comes to all of the things with full-time living. So share with us some things that you do now, that you've learned now, that you didn't necessarily know when you first got started.
So we learned about all of the memberships and stuff that you needed to have way before we got on the road, but we never used them to the fullest until we kind of had to. So especially when you're traveling in the wintertime and there's not as many spots that are available, using your your memberships for Thousand Trails or Passport America or any of those types of memberships, you can use those memberships and know what your reservation windows are. And so make sure that you know that if you have 90 days that you can book this place, you're on 90 days before you need your reservation. Or if you're 180 days, you get in there and you get them as soon as you possibly can, because there's other people that are going to be in there too, and you want to get the spots that are perfect for your trip.
One thing that was a concern of ours when we first started full-timing was you're going out of a neighborhood where like you have friends and family that are all nearby, and you're going out on the road and just totally random places every day or every week or whatever. So one of the things we try to do is as we meet new people and we kind of, we mesh and we drive with people and we kind of know who, like we meet friends on the road, we share where we're going to be with everybody that we know. And what that does is that gives us opportunities to not only for Aaron and I to socialize with people repeatedly, it also gives our kids a steady group of kids to also play with. And here in Central Florida during the winter, it's a little bit cheating because like 90% of the full-timers are here in Central Florida, especially with kids, because Arizona is not very kid-friendly. But like here, we have people there we know, we have people over here we know, we have people back there that we know. So sharing our itinerary with those people, and then they share them as well. We actually have a group calendar that we post all of our stuff in.
Number 6, camping at state parks or city and county run campgrounds. Now, when we first started RV Life, we didn't realize that most state parks offered RV hookups for a fraction of the cost of private campgrounds. Nor did we know about the hidden gems that are city or county run RV parks and campgrounds. Now, city run RV campgrounds are campgrounds that are owned and operated by a city or county government. And these campgrounds can be a great option for RVers who want to stay in a specific city and have access to amenities such as showers, restrooms, electricity, all your full hookups. Some city-run RV campgrounds may also have additional features such as playgrounds or swimming pools, outdoor recreation areas. They're real hidden gems. In general, city-run campgrounds tend to be more affordable than privately owned campgrounds, and they may offer discounts to local residents or members of certain organizations. So we've learned to take advantage of these when we can. Now for number 7, we asked our new friends, the Breedloves over at Road Schooling the States with 8, something that they do differently now. And I do want to let you know, the Breedloves have 6 children, all still living at home in their 5th wheel. So you know that they've got some amazing tips and tricks. So we're here with our friends, the Breedloves, and they have been on the road full-time for 5 years with 6 kids. So you know they have learned a lot along the way. So today, they're going to share with us something that they do now that they didn't when they first started. So let us know what it is.
I have a hot plate that's not your normal hot plate. I didn't get it at Walmart. We tried a Walmart one at first, and you can't even boil water, especially if you're trying to feed 6 people and you're boiling a lot of water. So that ended up getting thrown away because it was worthless. But I found on Amazon a 1500 watt hot plate that is cast iron covered. Above the burner, we have this cast iron plate that holds the heat, so when the burner turns on and off, it stays hot. I can boil water, I can cook inside, I can cook outside. I'm not using propane and wasting money when you're at a campground where most of the time the electricity's free. So that's something that we didn't use at first, that now I don't ever turn this on. This just stays covered. And unless I have to cook more than one thing at a time, I only use the electric.
Now, we know there are so many of you that you've got things that you do differently now versus when you first started, and I want to hear all of them. So leave a comment below and let us know what you learned while out on the road. If you want to see more videos with RV organization and RV living tips and tricks, I've put together a whole playlist that I know you're going to find helpful. I'll put that right up here. If we don't see you out on the road or around the campground, we'll see you in the next video.